This goal-kicking back row from Goondiwindi has tasted success at many levels, from making junior Kangaroos to winning an NRL premiership with the Cowboys in 2015. Unfortunately forced into retirement in 2020 after suffering a neck injury, he will forever be remembered for his amazing State of Origin debut in a game he wasn't even meant to play. Ethan Lowe.
Thanks so much for joining me today, mate.
No worries, mate.
It's nice to be out driving around, mate, out this neck of the woods, and I guess sort of being out here, it's sort of familiar territory. You're born in Goondiwindi, is that right?
Yeah, born and raised Goondiwindi. Off to boarding school after that for high school in Toowoomba, and mum and dad still out in Goondiwindi, so
Beautiful.
Get out there when I can.
Yeah, and mate, what were those early years like growing up in Gundy? I guess what was life like for yourself and the family out on a property, no doubt?
Yeah. So we lived in town at that time, just in town near one of the footy fields. Now it's always good. You got to get out there, go fishing, camping, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And mate, what hobbies, mate? What'd you get into? Like obviously, me growing up in the city, I was very envious of all the things that you guys get up to out these ways. What was the things that you love to get into?
A lot of fishing back then.
Yeah.
Good old McIntyre River right there near the house. So you'd either go out on the boat and go do some luring, or walk across the road from where I live down on the riverbank and throw some lines out and hope for the best.
That's awesome, mate. And I know you got talking there before, you got a brother and sister, mate. How'd they go with the fishing, mate?
Yeah, brother doesn't like it that much. Sister loves it, but my brother wasn't that keen on it. So there's a big gap between me and my sister. So me and my brother are pretty close. So we were always playing footy and stuff in the front yard. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
And mate, growing up, your first foray into rugby league, I understand you were 5 years old playing in the under-7s at Goondiwindi Boars.
Yeah, we didn't have at that time we didn't have the comp for under-5s or 6s and stuff like that. So I wasn't even allowed to play for the under-7s. I just go out there and train with them and just try and get a little footy fix. So yeah, it was good fun. You get to run around and then throw the footy around and stuff like that. So yeah, it was my first sort of taste of rugby league. So yeah,
unreal. And I guess being the youngest, do they look after you, mate? You're up against boys a couple of years older than you.
Yeah, they're all pretty good. I'd always being the young kid, always try and rip in and show I was good enough to be there and stuff like that. But yeah, no, they were all always looked after me, so it was good fun.
And what about growing up? Like, were you a big football follower? Did you watch any teams, or who was the team that you followed back in the days?
Yeah, I love footy. Obviously, old man played out in Goondiwindi and stuff like that, and my pop had a lot to do with the senior footy out there as well. So
he was the president, right?
Yeah, for a bit. Yeah, fantastic. So we had a fair bit to do with footy. So I always used to be watching it on weekends, and then as soon as Sunday arvo footy finished, you go to the backyard and pretend to play and be that. So yeah, I've always enjoyed it. So yeah.
And who was the team, mate? Did you follow anyone?
I didn't have a team. Yeah. I loved back in the day. I loved Matty Rogers back in the day.
What a gun!
Yeah. So
good Maroons legend. He was.
Yeah. So I think that's where I started trying to learn how to be a goal kicker too. Yeah. So I'd watch him play and then go to the backyard and used to have these 2 palm trees in the front garden. I used to sit there and try and kick between the 2 palm trees.
Now, Matty Rogers obviously played at the back line, so is that where you started?
I dreamed of being a back, I just got too big. Kept growing, so
I think that's what happens to all of us.
Yeah, kept growing and up in the forward. So
unreal. And mate, so you spoke about that love of goal kicking. Is that where it started as a young fella, or was it something that you grew into as you got up to the age groups?
No, it's something I always enjoyed doing. You see, like I said, I was a big fan of Matty Rogers, seeing him doing it. So you go in the backyard and you try and do it as well, and then sort of got older, and we had a footy field just up the road from where we lived in town. So if I got bored on a weekend and stuff like that, I'd grab 3 footies in a shopping bag and throw a kicking tee in there and ride up to the oval just sit up there for a couple of hours in the afternoon or something on the weekend to waste a bit of time.
That's fantastic, mate. And you talk about doing those extras, mate. Talking to a lot of the Maroons legends, they're talking about the little things that they did on top of just their normal training. Was that something that you did as well?
Yeah, it was. I never thought I was the most talented kid getting around. Even in being in Goondiwindi, I felt like there's a few kids that are a bit more naturally gifted than what I was. So I knew if I wanted to do this for a career and for what I wanted to do, I'd have to do those extra stuff. We lived sort of on the edge of town. The Botanical Gardens were up the road, so I used to every couple of days a week, run up, get out for early morning and run around the botanical garden and stuff like that, and come home and then head off to school. So it was something that I always sort of tried to pride myself on, was doing those extra things. I think too, coming from a small country town, it's sort of, it gets stacked against you a little bit. When you go away to those rep carnivals and stuff like that, where you're playing against these guys from Brisbane and these other schools, other places that have the, I guess, more sort of exposure to all that sort of stuff. So you've got to try and do everything you can to try and get it back to sort of a level playing field, I guess.
For sure. Now, growing up out the bush, and you're thinking about a lot of those people that were really important to you, especially at junior level, but then also too coming up through the grades. Was anyone in particular? We talk about the great volunteers and the people that are so selfless at junior club level, and especially out these ways. Anyone in particular that sort of sticks out in your mind for you?
Yeah, I was having to think about it the other day actually, and this lovely old bloke out at home, old Bunny Buster he's called. So he used to work as as the pest control out at Goondiwindi for all the farmers and stuff. So they called him Bunny Buster, and he used to be the orange man at half time for the under sixes and under sevens. So he used to come out at half time with his big tray of oranges all cut up, sliced up, ready to go. So that's probably one of the real characters that I remember from back in the day, being a young buck.
Unreal. And it's amazing, talking to everyone around, those people they do remember, and that's such a selfless thing, those volunteers that help us out at that level. And,
exactly.
I guess, we're a direct result of a lot of people who put their time, their dedication and their sacrifice to give us what we have, eh?
Yeah, exactly right. I don't think, especially out in the country, I don't think a lot of rugby league clubs would survive without the volunteers, out Goondiwindi and those sort of areas. It's very hard to do without people, without mums and dads running the canteens and coaching and managing the sides and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely all the thanks need to go to them.
Big time, mate. And we talk about travel, especially mums and dads. What was that like? Playing at Goondiwindi, you would have had to get some kilometres, do some kilometres, travelling around all the different, grounds, all the different regions. What were some of those trips like?
Yeah, mum and dad did a fair few Ks in the old Prado back in the day. I think our closest away trip was an hour each way, and then normally they're about 2 hours each way, and then also if you made the rep sides, you have to come to Brisbane, which is almost 5 hours. You might be out at Roma and stuff like that. So there was a lot of Ks being done. For me, I guess there's a lot of. I feel sorry for my brother and my sister getting dragged all over Queensland back in the day, taking me to all these different games
Well, I tell you what, they would have. All those memories would have left them once they saw you, run out in the NRL fields, and obviously.
I don't know. I think my sister still likes to sook about it a little bit. So
all the things that she had to put up with.
Yeah,
that's unreal. Now, tell me this. So, Goondiwindi, went to primary school, and then you said you went to boarding school in Toowoomba.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? You had 4 years there?
Yeah, 5 years in Toowoomba. So I left in grade 8 to go to boarding school.
That was a big shock to the system, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I was always sort of a pretty independent kid though, so I sort of didn't mind it too much, getting away from mum and dad, getting out by myself for a little bit. But it was definitely a shock. But I really enjoyed it. Met a lot of really good people there. Got them still mates with now. So
fantastic.
Yeah, really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah, and mate, we're talking about those transitions in life. So you went from playing and going to school in Toowoomba, and then how did you take that next step? You end up going to the Roosters?
Yeah, so I ended up going down to 20s at the Roosters. Actually, the day I finished school, so I had the graduation. The next day, I was on a flight to Sydney.
So no schoolies or anything?
No schoolies, nothing. straight into work. But no, it was definitely a shock. Took a little bit getting used to. Yep. But once I sort of got settled in and stuff like that, I really enjoyed Sydney. Hard part, was probably trying to live and afford to be able to survive in Sydney on a under 20s wage when there wasn't a lot of money in under 20s at the time. So that was probably the hardest part. But you know,
so a bit of part-time work.
Worked a bit of part-time. Worked in a few pubs here and there and stuff like that, trying to make my way through. So yeah.
And then for yourself, like with rep football, do you make any of those junior rep sides at all when you're
I made like the regional areas and stuff like that. I didn't make a Queensland side till the year I finished school. I made the Queensland 18s the year I finished school, the year I left. But yeah, I think it's sort of one of those things too. You know, playing for Southwest, which is or Darling Downs, we weren't the greatest side. We weren't always, we weren't playing for the championship every time we played, so it makes it a bit difficult, when you're playing for 6th and 7th every carnival and stuff like that.
Well, I guess it's hard to put rep teams together when you've got so much distance between.
Yeah, exactly. We might only get 1 or 2 sessions a week of training. It's sort of a bit difficult when you're coming up against Brisbane teams to get to train 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah.
That move for you from Sydney to North Queensland, I mean, that must have been, an exciting moment for you to think about leaving a club like the Sydney Roosters, but getting this amazing opportunity to go north. How did you feel about that, mate?
Yeah, it was sort of, sort of bittersweet for me, I guess. Leaving 20, I just made the junior kangaroos and stuff that year as well, and then sort of was told, oh look, we don't have anything for you for first grade, and I was fairly late on in the year, and ended up getting in touch with Happy Thompson up at the Cowboys, and he said, look, our squad's full for the year, but they'll give me a train and trial. So I went up there on a train and trial and just made the decision just to get in there and just work my butt off every day and do the best I could, and got to the end of pre-season and just sort of said to me, look, we'd love to sign you on, but we've just got our books full. Go back to I was with Cairns then for the Northern Pride, and they said go back to Cairns and just do your best up there. And then within 2 games of the season, they'd offered me a contract for the year after. So it worked out well. I just went up there, and sort of decided, I'm going to put my best foot forward and just do everything I can at 100%, and was lucky enough to pay off and got a gig for the next year, and end up going on to play 7-8 years there. So
it's great, mate. It's unreal.
Yeah,
and I understand why you got signed, because we actually got a bit of a connection in that 2013 was my last year playing footy, and I went back and played for the regular Dolphins, and we played against each other.
Yeah, we did.
Now, and I tell people this, and I remember you because I think you hit me a couple of times in this one particular game, and I remember walking off the field and I was asking people about you, and they were telling me that you're on the verge of signing the Cowboys. So, mate, that's I know exactly why you got signed, mate. So, but it was a good year. I mean, you guys had a fantastic side that year as well, didn't you?
Yeah. We had a good run there for a few years. We had Dave Maiden was a coach when I first got there, and then we've had JD come in after that, and he's now gone on to coach of the Bunnies. So he's he was a very good coach back then. He still is a very good coach. I mean, we're lucky enough to win the comp with him for the Northern Pride as well. So we had a good side there for a little bit. So
fantastic, mate. And I just talk about the value of the Hostplus. It's called Hostplus now. I was about to say Intrust, but we're obviously very grateful for the support of Intrust Super, but now with Hostplus coming, I always talk about just how tough that competition is, and it's a great breeding ground, isn't it, for that next level of senior players before they head into potential NRL opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think you get a very good mix of the young kids coming through, and you also have those those blokes that have played NRL and know what they're doing, and the few of the old harder heads you have to play against as well. Sort of really does get you sort of in your body in the right shape and in the right headspace mentally to go on to NRL. So I think it is a very good breeding ground for that next generation.
I always talk about my memories of just that one year that I had in there, but man, how tough it was, week in, week out. It wasn't an easy game. They were always tough and grinding games, and I could just, it was exciting for me to see guys like yourself and Jason Tomalolo and Cameron Munster as well. I think he played for, he's playing for
Rossi,
Capras as well. Yeah. So it was great, and it was just so good to see you guys kick on. So, mate, talk to me about your first grade debut. What was talk to me about how you got the call up, and also too, what were the emotions for you? Finally getting there after starting off at Goondiwindi Ballers, and you have those dreams and aspirations. And then all of a sudden, fast forward a few years, you're running out to play first grade in the NRL.
Yeah. So I was with the Cowboys back when Neil Henry was the coach. They sort of told me, probably we played on the Saturday, I think it was, and they told me sort of on the Wednesday, look, the I was in the squad of the 19 or whatever, and he sort of came up to me Wednesday and just said, mate, we're going to put you on the bench, you're going to debut. So I was in number 18, debuting, and obviously it was just the excitement and everything, and ringing up mum and the family and stuff like that, and then
how were they, mate? Were
they were very excited and very happy that it's your parents when you get to live out what you've been dreaming of doing. They were very happy and excited as well. And then I guess by the Thursday, Friday, the sort of the nerves started kicking in after that.
Don't they kick in, eh?
Yeah, didn't get much sleep actually the night before, but so it was during the Origin period, so we had a few boys out, we ended up playing about 50 minutes or so. Scored a try as well. We got towed up though, so, but I scored a try on debut too, which was pretty magic. Good. But didn't get to celebrate too much too, because the last try of the game, with about a minute to go, so we're already down by a fair bit, so I didn't really get to celebrate it. But
well, mate, at least you got a meat pie.
That was very enjoyable. Got off the nudie run straight up, so I was very happy with that.
Once you were in, as you mentioned, you had 7 seasons there with the Cowboys. I mean, with the aspirations, mate, playing rep footy, was that something that was on your radar?
I'd always dreamed of doing it, but realistically, I just wanted to play. I was playing NRL. I was just happy to get in a starting spot every week, and I was happy. I was lucky enough to get a taste of it as 18th man in 2016.
And you're in a lot of those
did a lot of the emerging camp and stuff like that as well. So it was obviously good to get that sort of the taste of it, and know that you're close and thereabouts. But it was especially from being younger, not really making any of those sides. It was sort of more, if it ever did happen, it'd be a great dream come true. But it was more just focused on being able to play NRL every week.
And mate, let's talk about it, mate. You finally get that call, mate. Talk me through the phone call that you got, to say that you're in. I know.
You know better than most. Well, you were in some of the meetings, mate.
That's right. Well, Matty Gillette, I guess he was had a bit of an injury, didn't he?
Yeah. So I got called into 18th man. Kevy gave me a ring. We had the bye weekend and said I was actually on the way out to Goondiwindi to see the family, and Kevy rings me up and says, "Oh, mate, you reckon you can come into camp?" I said, "Oh yeah." I said, he goes, "Where are you at?" I said, "Oh, I've just landed in Brizzy. I'm heading out to Gundy to see the family." And he goes, "Oh, we'll go there for a day or two and then come back and catch up with us on Wednesday or Thursday. I'll come into camp the week before." And he said, "Just come in." I said, "Yeah, sweet." Anyway, the next day we had training run on the Friday, and Gillo pulled up sore and didn't get through the session and stuff, and didn't think much of it. And then we had the Saturday off, and I was off to have a punt with a few of my mates in Brisbane down at the regatta, and Kevy gets me as I'm coming out of the elevator and just said, "Look, we're not sure how Gillo's going to be. It doesn't look good, so just mentally start preparing just in case."
You're thinking about who the winners were.
I'm doing the form here, and then so from that sort of point on, I sort of had to mentally just sort of think that I was playing and go from there. Kevy sort of said that they're going to give Gillo till basically game day to be right, and I just started trying to mentally prepare myself to be ready, and then just before captain's run, we were about to just finish brekkie, and Kevy comes over to me and said, "Yeah, mate, we've ruled Gillo out. You're going to be playing." And then so then we went up to captain's run, and that was it.
I really didn't have too much time to think about it. Now tell me, the phone call, mum and dad, what was that like?
They were. I sort of told them at the start of the week I was a chance and stuff like that. But once calling them obviously to tell them that I actually was in and stuff like that. So it was pretty special. Like they were very excited and they loved it. I booked them tickets and flights and everything just in case early on in the week because we were down in Sydney. So I booked them all flights and everything and got the tickets and that for them just in case anything happened. And worked out that they were needed. So it was.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it was pretty special.
Mate, I've got to say, I was absolutely blown away by just how relaxed and calm you were, leading into that game. Because, as you said, the call come on late. You really didn't have too much time to sort of prepare. But, the way you handle that and the way that you went on to play that match, talk to me about that, mate. Because, as I said, you look outwardly, you look like calm as nothing was going to faze you. What was going on in your head?
Yeah, I'm a pretty casual person in the best of times. I don't let too much faze me the best of times. But obviously there was a fair few nerves and stuff the morning of the game and stuff like that. It wasn't really till the morning of the game that I really got too nervous and stuff about it. But yeah, I just tried to get back in the game day routine and stuff like that, and try and keep everything close to normal as I could. And then obviously, probably once I actually got out on the field, the running out on the field and the anthem and stuff was probably when I was at my peak nervousness. And then once you start playing footy again, it's all you just sort of get back in that routine, and it sort of goes away. Most nervous, obviously, with my first goal kick. I was terrified. I was like, if I miss this one, I'm going to have a shocker every game.
You weren't in front, you were off to the side, weren't you? Yeah.
But as I said, if I miss this one, I'm going to have a shocker. So that was one I was most nervous about. Then once that one went through, I was like, right, I don't have to worry too much now. I sort of just got into the rhythm and the routine.
And mate, I guess the way that game transpired, mate, just the influence that you had on that match, mate, was unbelievable, really. And there were some pivotal moments in that match. We had to call on you at quite a number of times, and I guess really you created a bit of Origin folklore history, with what you were able to do, and it was an amazing performance. And I do remember after that match, I went into the sheds and, mate, I met your mum and dad for the first time, and mate, I couldn't get over how big their smiles were, mate. They were just obviously immensely proud. It must have been a special moment after walking off playing your first Origin and seeing your parents in the sheds.
Yeah, definitely. Probably would be a little bit more special if we got the win, but no, it was it's a pretty cool thing to be able to experience and share those sort of memories and I guess dreams sort of come true sort of situations with the people you love. I was lucky enough to have my partner and our wife there as well, and my sister and brother and stuff like that as well. So the whole family was down there. So it was something that was sort of bittersweet. I get to enjoyed it with my family, but then also very disappointed that we lost. So but it's just one of those things. I think all as most of people that have played State of Origin in Queensland know, is you just go out there and you just do your job as best you can. And it was just sort of lucky for me that day that I did my job as well as I could, and a few things happened off it. So,
well, mate, I can tell you, there wasn't a person that was watching that game, and even at the stadium itself, obviously all immensely proud of the way you played and the way you handled what was a tough situation to come in so late, but the way you did it, you look like a seasoned veteran, mate, the way you handled it. Now, I want to ask you this: what do you think is so special about wearing that maroon jersey? Pulling it on and just knowing what it means to people, and like yourself growing up out here, what does it mean to people in Queensland? Seeing a Maroons team go around.
I think it's it means everything. The history behind it, and how it started and how it basically was started to try and keep the interstate rivalry alive, the Queensland New South Wales rivalry alive, and for being from Queensland, you always got told that they were never as talented and stuff like that, but they always got the job done. And I think you realise that you're doing it not just for yourself and your family, but you're doing it for everyone in Queensland. Especially growing up in Goondiwindi, it's pretty different too, because you go to school and half the school's from New South Wales as well, so you have those rivalries at school and stuff like that. That's some of the things I remember is when Queensland would win, we'd come in and be bagging all the New South Wales kids, and then when you lost, they'd be doing the same to you and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things. I think it's ingrained pretty well in Queenslanders that how important it is, and I think that's what we do so well in the Queensland Maroons and stuff like that, is we ingrain that, and we ingrain that history into the jersey and stuff like that. So I think it's a very special thing to be a part of.
No, it's awesome, mate. It's great to hear that, because I guess, you know, it's one thing that we do pride ourselves on that Maroon is just that you know, feeling of family, and you know, you do it for more than just yourself, and that's awesome, mate. Now, for yourself, you've retired from footy. What are you up to now?
I'm actually just about to start my own mortgage broking company.
Fantastic. Good stuff.
Yeah, so if anyone needs a loan out there, hit me up.